So LEGO has just announced that they have signed a new multi-year partnership with Formula One to create every single LEGO Formula One team in a LEGO set. Now we can only assume that this is going to mean at least one car from every single Formula One team. Maybe they'll do something like me. Now I've built the entire LEGO F1 pit lane. So I will now put the announcement up on the screen and we can go through it together. Today we announce a new multi-year partnership with Formula One, bringing together two passionate global fan bases. The partnership will start building next year as part of the 2025 F1 season, with experiences on the ground at races and a host of digital content for fans and families to enjoy. And as if that wasn't enough, later this year we will announce new products for fans and builders of all ages, featuring all 10 Formula One teams currently on the grid. Now, what we can assume from this is that there is just going to be a car for every team. That is obviously the most obvious choice. Now, for me, I believe that this is going to mean that there is going to be an actual theme for Formula One. Just like we have Speed Champions, like we have Lego City, I think Formula One must become its own theme. Now, the reason why I think this is because there's a couple of ways they could go about doing all 10 cars. Now, they could do them in one set, but obviously if they were going to do that under the Speed Champions theme, which I think is most likely, because obviously they couldn't do it as one set in a scale as large as the, say, like the Technic, Mercedes and McLaren. So Speed Champions would be the only theme that would fit into, but I don't think they've ever done a set more than about £100 on Speed Champions. So obviously 10 cars, when usually a car is £20 each, you're looking at £200, so I don't think that would work. Now obviously the other thing they could do is just release each team its own set, whether that's a single pack or a double pack, which obviously I think could happen, but I think that's too many Speed Champions slots taken up for 2025, so then there wouldn't really be any room to have non-Formula One licensed Speed Champion sets. And let's be honest, people who don't like Formula One are going to be pretty annoyed if there is that many sets in the Speed Champions theme. Now obviously they could spread this across multiple themes. They could do some in Speed Champions, they could do some Technic, they could do some Icons, and maybe there's another theme that I'm not thinking about. But those are the three sort of themes that I can think of where Lego Formula One sets would fit into and have obviously fit into in the past. Now, the main thing that I started thinking about when this happened is what happens to all of the sets that are already about. Now, obviously this year we've had like a couple of Technic Mercedes, the big and the small one. We've had the Aston Martin double pack and the single McLaren as Speed Champion sets. Now, if we are going to get a separate theme Formula One, what happens with these sets? Because they kind of won't fit. So maybe they'll sort of get phased out a little earlier, because especially say the single McLaren Formula One set, if we're going to get a very similar style and size of build at a similar price point next year when they make all 10 teams, I can only imagine that they're not really going to be selling that well this year's car, which will obviously be outdated by the time all the other sets get released next year. I do hope that they go further than just the cars. Like I mentioned, I've got obviously my Formula One team pit walls. I'm also building every Formula One team garage as well, which is the size of 4 32 by 32 base plates. So it's a total of 64 by 64 studs. And hopefully very soon I will be uploading a proper YouTube video about my first garage, because they've been such an awesome build. But anyway, back to the news. So another section of the news was their partnership at the Formula One races. So I've been Silverstone for the Formula One race for the last 3 years. Now last year and again this year, they've had a Lego Formula One section. It was quite small, I think. You did get some cool. So this year we were able to build and take this, and I believe this was also at the Canadian Grand Prix and a couple of others as well. I don't think it's been at every single Formula One race, but obviously this is sounding like from next year that they will be at a lot more, if not every single Formula One race as Lego. So this will be really exciting to see what else they do over the next year at the races. I'm hoping to be able to go to Silverstone again next year. And one of the things it does say is it will host a whole load of digital content at the races. So maybe we won't get things like this. Maybe it's going to be more stuff online. I hope we get physical Lego bricks, because that is what Lego is all about. As much as it's great to have all of these digital innovations coming from Lego, we are all here for the brick after all, so I hope they don't forget about that. Now for me personally, I really hope, to be totally honest with you, once I finish building all of my garages to go with my pit walls, that I would personally get invited to Silverstone to exhibit my builds, because I will have an entire Formula One pit lane that would go with all the teams. So I'm absolutely going to try my hardest to get everything built and ready to go. For this announcement that is coming I believe, later this year. There's one thing that I really hope that we don't see, and that is all 10 teams spread across different sizes. So for example, this year we got the big Mercedes 1/8 scale Technic car, and we got the McLaren Formula One Speed Champion set. But the last thing I'd want is, say, for half the teams to get like a Speed Champion style car, so like an 8 stud wide small car, then say maybe a couple of teams get something like the pullback Mercedes car, so a small Technic set, and then the other portion of the teams to get a large 1/8 scale Technic set. That's the one thing I do not want from this. I hope that when they're making all 10 cars, we get them all at the same scale. Now, whether they then also do for the more popular teams, most likely, larger sets or smaller sets as well, then that would be great. And again, if we have other builds like pit lanes and garages and pit walls and all that stuff, that would be fantastic. I just hope that we get a car for each team in like a Speed Champion style scale, just because for me that would be absolutely perfect. This is really, really exciting. So if you have any thoughts on this announcement, let me know down in the comments. I can't wait for this. I think it's going to be awesome. We're going to see some amazing sets, and I absolutely can't wait. So if you have any ideas on what we're going to be seeing, and whether you think it's going to be its own theme or if it's going to fit into other themes, then please do let me know. Now, thank you guys for watching, and of course, don't forget to let me know in the comments of what you think about this announcement.